I ain't folding under pressure, I ain't switching for no hoe. I ain't talking to no cop and I ain't telling on my bros. Ain't no killer, but don't push me, fingers itching on that pole.
What's good? It's your Bucket Flex, and I'm back here with another video, making this quick video. Right now I'm watching the Chargers versus the New England Patriots, trying to see what's going on with this defensive coordinator, because he is our new head coach. Most likely, that's not official, he ain't signed no pen to no paper, but it's pretty much he's the coach. Now, Adam Scheffler reported on today that the Dolphins are considering a rebuild and are eyeing a quarterback in the 2020 draft class. Now, this is something that we already kind of knew. It just wasn't national attention, but we kind of already knew that we was pretty much trying to get a quarterback in 2020, all right? But, you know, this just confirms it, really, and I just decided to make a video on it because it's national news now. Now, what this tells me is that, number one, at least the organization knows that Tannehill was not the answer no more.
Bruh.
That's number one, because the fan base and we speculation, we already knew that we needed another quarterback, okay? When I figured it out, I thought we needed another quarterback like 2-3 years ago, but then when Gase came out, I started believing that maybe we didn't need a new quarterback. But then, you know, this year pretty much confirmed that we did need a new quarterback. So, at least I know the team and I are on the same page to where we both know we need a new quarterback, okay? Now obviously we're eyeing them in the 2020 draft class, so that means we shouldn't draft one this year, or we wouldn't draft one this year. We'd draft for a top player at another position, which I'm personally fine with. But now let's talk about the concept of tanking. What exactly is tanking? Now let's just keep it real what tanking is, because people seem to think that we got to tank for the next 3 years for this rebuild to happen. I don't think that's what a rebuild is. First of all, tanking is losing on purpose. That's what it is. You're losing so you can get a better draft pick. I don't even think that's in players' DNA to lose on purpose. Okay? That's not a way you could tank. You can't tell this current roster to lose on purpose. You can't go into this Dolphins roster with Cameron Wake, Rashad Jones, and these veterans that want to win, that's been winning their whole life, or at least been attempting to win their whole life. I ain't gonna say winning their whole life because they've been playing for the Dolphins their career, but they've been attempting to win their whole life. Hey, we trying to lose this season. I don't think you can go to any NFL player and say that. If you ask the owner, that you know, they say words like rebuild, or, you know, this season's gonna be a tough one, but nobody's gonna say lose on purpose. We're gonna lose on, that sounds really bad, and it's against everything that football is about. However, if you are going to tank, it has to be for a quarterback. It has to be. You know, you can't tank for no other position. It don't make sense. And then I'm looking at, and if you do tank, if the Dolphins are going to tank next season, let's call it what it is. If the Dolphins are going to lose on purpose, the only way to do that is to get rid of Rashad Jones, get rid of Cameron Wake, get rid of these veterans who they don't benefit from tanking. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to tank. They're trying to win, get rings. They don't benefit from tanking. So if you want to tank, you're going to have to get rid of some of these veterans, these aging veterans that are in win now mode. And then once we get rid of them, we will have constructed a roster that is not capable of doing nothing but losing.
Bruh.
See, that's how you take it in NFL. You can't just tell people to go out there and lose. You have to literally build a roster that can't win, okay? And by doing that, you'd have to get rid of some of our good players. And once we do that, okay, and after we tank, we have to get a quarterback, no other position. And after that, you don't have to tank anymore. See, I don't get this idea of people saying we need to lose 3 straight seasons, or we need to tank, because we can rebuild without tanking. I have been personally, and I've been looking for a while, and y'all can explain to me, name me a team that tanked for 3 straight years that magically got good. Let me know. That is good right now. I'm looking at teams, usually I see a team, they have a bad season, they draft a quarterback, and then they'll turn it around like that. I'm not seeing many teams tank for 3 straight seasons and then just get a good and just become good. And if anything, they still are terrible. I'm looking at some of the teams that lost the most over the last 10 years. We're looking at the Rams, okay? The Rams, they're good now, right? Yeah, the Rams are good, but did the Rams tank to get good? The Rams didn't tank to get good. How did they get Jared Goff? Did they tank? No, they traded up. They had like the 15th pick. They traded up to number 1. They didn't tank for Jared Goff. Look at Todd Gurley. Well, he was like a 10th pick. In fact, the people that they did pick number 1 and number 5 and all that, you're looking at people like Greg Robinson, who's not with the team no more. You're looking at people like Sam Darnold, Sam Bradford, who is not with the team anymore, who was never good. So they didn't tank to be where they're at. Look at teams like the Jacksonville Jags. Did they tank? They got Jalen Ramsey and Leonard Fournette. Can y'all name any other of the draft picks they had in the top 10 that actually developed to anything? Blake Bortles ring a bell to y'all? Blaine Gabbert ring a bell to y'all? So like I said, they've lost just as much as any team in the last, 10 years. I don't see them tanking. So I don't understand this idea of us having to lose for the next 3 years. I feel like you just get your quarterback. If you're going to tank, and I'm not saying I'm for tanking because that builds a losing culture, in my opinion. I would rather us try to trade up and get a quarterback, to be quite honest with you. But if you're going to tank for a quarterback, it has to be a 1-year thing. That's all I'm saying. It has to be a 1-year thing. Ain't no tanking for 3-4 years trying to hope you get a good team. Because y'all tell me a team that has did that and it actually worked. Y'all want to bring up the Colts. All the Colts, they have bad seasons and they rebuilt. The Colts tanked once Peyton Manning got hurt. They have a good quarterback. They tanked, and I don't even know if they tanked on purpose. That team was so terrible that they had no choice. They tanked, got Andrew Luck, and didn't tank again. They haven't had a top 10 pick up until they got Quentin Nelson last year. So they I don't understand what this idea of the next 3 years we have to be losing, getting good picks, and why? What other team does that? Obviously the Patriots don't do that. They always got a bad pick. The Saints, how many good picks have they had? I'm naming playoff teams. The Chargers. You look at the Chargers, who they had a couple of top 10 picks, Joey Bosa, but they weren't tanking. They were just terrible that year. They got Joey Bosa and I believe who else? I don't know, but they haven't had that. Put it this way, there's no team that has just been like tanking for 3 straight years that just got good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where that idea came from. The Patriots just scored a touchdown, but I don't know where that idea came from. I think you tank if you're gonna tank. You have to get a quarterback, and then there's no more tanking. After that, maybe the rebuild process takes a while, but you can rebuild and be competitive at the same time. And that's what we need to be doing, okay? Period. If you're going to tank for this quarterback, as soon as we draft him, we need to be competitive, all right? If that's what we're going to do, we need to be competitive because you could, like I said, you could be competitive in rebuilding at the same time. You could get talent in other ways. Like I said, the Rams, they're in the playoffs. Yeah, they drafted up and got Jared Goff. Todd Gurley was a top pick, but and he worked out. I think he was like maybe the 8th or the 10th pick, and he worked out. But if you look at that defense, all that talent right there, Aaron Donald, they didn't tank for Aaron Donald. He was 13th pick, which is what we got this year. You know what I'm saying? So did we tank this year? No, but they just happened to be kind of trash that year and was able to get Aaron Donald with the 12th pick, or the 12th or 13th. Then you look at Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib. They didn't even draft him. They got him in free agency. You look at the Debunking Suh. They didn't draft him. They got him in free agency. You look at Mark Barron. I don't believe they drafted him either. If you're looking at some of this talent that the Rams got, like they didn't tank for this talent. They picked him up in other ways. So all this whole stacking a whole bunch of picks and get all these top 10 picks for the next 3, I don't see that work too often. I've seen teams do it. I'm looking at the Browns. They look like they're having success now, but it's taking the Browns what? When's the last time they had a quarterback? It's taking them so many years. You know what I'm saying? It's taking the Jags. They had one good run. They haven't been able to do nothing. You look at the Raiders. That's another team that had great picks. They got Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack back-to-back top 5 picks. Okay? They had one playoff run, and now look at them. Now look at them in full rebuild. So it's like these teams, you could get these top picks if you want to, but it's a lot deeper than that, guys. So just purposely losing for the next 3 years is not the answer. Now, if you want to get this quarterback, you might have to lose, But after this season, after we get our quarterback, it's no more losing. All right, it's no more. And if we get a quarterback this season, it's no losing. What's the point? You can find other talent in other ways. There's no proof that I can see that shows that leads to success in this generation. I just can't. I'm looking at the Lions. You look at the Lions, they had about as good of a 3 draft picks as you could get in 4 years. They drafted Calvin Johnson, the Debunking Suh, and Matthew Stafford, all top 2 picks. All top 2 picks in a 4-year span. Have the Lions won a playoff game? Bruh. Like this whole formula I don't think works. So when you rebuild, you get your quarterback, and then you have to also build in other ways. You have to build through free agency, through all kind of stuff. But just losing on purpose for the next 3 years is not the answer. Okay, if anything, that probably hurts you more because you're just building a losing culture. So that's my whole thoughts, man, on the rebuild situation, man. If you're going to tank, quote unquote, and you lose on purpose, make sure it's for a quarterback, number one. When we had the first overall draft pick, the year we went 1-15 in 05, I believe it was. Was it 05? No, it was 08. It was 08. No, that's when we made the playoffs. So it was 07. Yeah, it was 07. No, I'm sorry, the years be confusing me. You have to get a quarterback. Yeah, Jake Long was good. Yeah, we made the playoffs with him. We should have got Matt Ryan with that. Because then we could have tried to build other stuff around him. You know what I'm saying? Never tank for a tackle. I'm sorry. If you get lucky enough to get that first overall draft pick and there is a good future quarterback up on that board, you have to take him. You have to take him, especially when you don't have one. We had Chad Pennington at the time. Obviously, he wasn't the future. I don't know how old he was, but we should have knew he wasn't the future. So we should have already had got a quarterback for the future right then. But hindsight's 2020. I knew it was a dumb decision back then, but I was so little that I thought like I was just like, oh, they know more about football than me. I'm only like, I was only like 13. I was like, oh, they must know what they're doing. But yeah, that's all I had to say, man. National media reporting that the Dolphins are already eyeing 2020 draft class. Like I said, the only way to even do this, I think, is to construct a team that is going to lose, okay? And that's up to the GM, Chris Greer, and all them, and I know they probably will, so that means Rashad Jones, get rid of Rashad, because you can't teach people how to lose, and I don't even want players on my team that are taught how to lose. You feel me? I don't even want, like, you can't go into that locker room tomorrow and say, hey, guys, we're losing all next season. You can't. Like, no player's going to be on board. You have to literally, maybe you can tell the coach that, maybe you tell Brian Flores that and be like, hey, Brian Flores, we're going to lose. I don't know how you feel about that. He's from New England. Maybe you tell, you converse amongst the owner and everything and say, hey, yeah, these next 3 seasons are going to be rough. But you cannot tell these players that are playing for contracts, that are putting their bodies on the line, that are been trained to win since Pee Wee football, that, hey, yeah, guys, we losing on purpose now. So the only way that the Dolphins to, quote-unquote, tank is to literally construct a team that can't win, which was pretty much what Adam Gase already was doing, okay? And which means pretty much getting rid of a lot of talent, okay? Getting rid of Rashad Jones, getting rid of Cameron Wake, getting rid of anybody that gives us hope of winning, okay? All right, and then keeping the young guys, obviously. You know, we probably still win a couple games next year, but it won't be enough to really compete with anybody. With that being said, guys, this is just a report. Adam Schefter reported. This is just a report. So it could, you know, we could not tank next year. We could surprise everybody. And we could trade it up and get Kyler Murray or something. Then we don't have to, you know. But this is just a report by Adam Schefter and the national media, not just my thoughts on the whole rebuild process, okay? Like I said, rebuilding process should be, if you're going to tank, it has to be a quarterback, number one, boom. You have to get that quarterback in the future, and after that, you have to build the other way. You have to build the team in other ways, through trading, through free agency, but not losing no more. You can't just keep losing on purpose. Especially because I keep seeing fans say, yeah, we need to lose for 3 straight seasons and it would be worth it. Nah, no, you don't. You lose 1 season, you get your quarterback. After that, you at least try to win. You will try to be competitive, and you're building other ways. Like I said, none of the teams that y'all could tell me, because maybe I don't know something, but I've been looking up teams in history, and I'm not seeing too many teams that have just built these losing cultures, try to get great picks, and actually panned out, okay? Like, I'm talking about panned out, I mean like Super Bowls, deep playoff runs. I haven't. Like I said, the Jags had a good run last season, but you look at what they're at now, they're in bad position, and I just don't, I don't believe in that. But anyways, get in the comment section, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, roll to 7K on the way. It's your boy K Flexing, by the way. We only like a 70 away from 7K. Hit that subscribe. It's your boy K Flexing. Let me watch my defensive coordinator. I'm out. I mean my head coach.